Hey guys, welcome back to Level 6 Math. I'm Mr. C, and today we're going to do Saxon Math Lesson 64. This is classifying quadrilaterals. We talked about quadrilaterals just a few lessons ago, I think back in Lesson 60, but today we're going to identify, classify, and draw quadrilaterals. This is mostly a vocab lesson, honestly. It's getting familiar with the different kinds of quadrilaterals there are. This is geometry. We don't do a ton of geometry in level 6 math, but this is a good one to do because we'll deal with shapes a lot more in the future. So let's look at some of the quadrilaterals we have. Again, we learned in lesson 60, quadrilaterals are polygons with 4 sides. All right, so that's the important thing. If you're thinking quad, that's 4. Some of you will remember that because a quad is what we call a four-wheeler, which is an ATV. So if you drive on those, you know, if you're riding a car has 4 wheels, we'd call it a quad. So that's one way to remember a quadrilateral. All right, this table shows us the different classifications. So if there's no parallel sides, see they're all going different directions, then that's going to be a trapezium. We actually don't use trapeziums a lot when we do math homework assignments, and I don't know why that is, because most quadrilaterals in the world, you know, if things just have 4 sides, it doesn't mean they're going to be parallel necessarily. So there's a lot of trapeziums in the world, we just don't talk about them a lot. A trapezoid is a little more common in math, where we're looking at one set of parallel lines, so they're going the same direction, but then the 2 other ones can be going different directions. And we could stretch that out, and they don't have to be mirrored angles. It doesn't matter. A parallelogram means that both will be parallel, but not necessarily perpendicular. So they don't have to be going at 90-degree angles, but that is parallel and that's parallel. So that's a parallelogram. A parallelogram with equal sides, so they're all exactly the same, that's a rhombus, okay? And then a parallelogram with right angles, when they are perpendicular, that's just a rectangle, all right? Now, a perfect rectangle where it's equal sides, that's a square. So you'll see that a square it takes a lot of these things, and we'll get down to that with the next slide. All right, so here's just to review. Notice that squares, rectangles, and rhombuses are all parallelograms. These are all parallelograms. But a square is a special kind of rectangle, which is a special kind of parallelogram, which is a special kind of quadrilateral, which is a special kind of polygon. Basically, squares are really, really special. So I hope you love and cherish your squares, all right? It's a special kind of rhombus. All right, so is the following statement true or false? All parallelograms are rectangles. Well, we know rectangles are parallelograms, but can we have a parallelogram that's not a rectangle? Yeah, in fact, it's just called parallelogram, right? So they don't have to come at perpendicular angles. So we know this one is false, because there are lots of different kinds of parallelograms that are not rectangles, like a rhombus or a parallelogram. All right? Draw a pair of parallel lines. Okay. Got it. Then draw another pair of parallel lines. These lines should intersect the first pair, but not be perpendicular. If it was perpendicular, it would just be a rectangle or a square. But if it's not going to be perpendicular, then we're going to go at an angle. What's the name for the quadrilateral that's formed? If they have to be parallel, so we're going to go, let's say we go that angle. For this one to be parallel over here, we have to go same angle. And that's going to be what it looks like. What's that called? That's just a parallelogram. Let's see if theirs is a little prettier than mine. Here we go. First parallel lines, next parallel lines. It's a little straighter than my lines. They're okay. They win. You win, Mr. Saxon or Mrs. Saxon. That's our parallelogram. That's the whole lesson today. We're just getting familiar with quadrilaterals. So, you know, we have a reference on that chart and you could use that, but we're just going to work through some problems so you become more familiar with quadrilaterals. That's it. Good luck.